Welcome to this episode of my vlog. Today I'm going to be giving you 5, maybe 7 tips about how to travel like a photographer. And you're going to be a little bit confused by what that means. How do you travel like a photographer? Does that just mean take a bunch of cameras? Anyway, you'll understand quickly right after this. Stay tuned and I hope you enjoy this vlog. Okay. First things first here, guys, I'm going to pick out a hat today. I've got my little circular hats here. I'm feeling denim today. I hope you're feeling denim. Okay, hats on, ready to vlog. So today I'm going to start with a quote, and then I'll hopefully give you an idea of what I'm going to talk about today. Travel isn't always pretty. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. The journey changes you. It should change you. It leaves a mark on your memory, on your consciousness, on your heart, and on your body. You take something with you, and hopefully you leave something behind. So that quote's by Anthony Bourdain. I consider him sort of the godfather of travel. I've always been a big fan of his writings and his television show. So today I'm going to give you advice on how to travel like a photographer. Well, not really travel like a photographer, more like advice from a photographer who travels quite a bit. So you can see my passport here. These are my credentials. I'm filled with all sorts of stamps in there. I used to have like this really thick, awesome passport when they let you add pages. So it was like, it was one of those passports that immigration officials would give you the nod, and I'd give them yeah, I travel a lot. I don't know why that's cool, but I always liked it when they were impressed because I feel like they see a lot of passports. But now in the United States, you can't add as many pages anymore, so I have to just keep getting new passports. But boom, I travel a lot. I travel a lot for work. I travel a lot personally. I travel a lot for my personal projects. I've covered all sorts of different assignments for the New York Times around Southeast Asia, and a lot of work commercially all over the world. So I travel a lot. I've picked up a couple things, and today I want to share with you those things that I have learned. This is a new format for me. I'm basically pulling off some of the blogs that I've written, and I'm going to make them into vlogs. So if you've already read these, I'm sorry, but now you get the animated Justin talking to the camera version of these things. So today, the title of this is Travel Like a Photographer, Advice for the Soul. So I'm going to give you 5, maybe I'll even be generous and give you 7 tips on how to travel better, or how to travel like a photographer, or how to travel like someone like me who just travels a ton. So stay tuned. Here are my 5 tips, or 7 tips. So the first tip I'm going to give you today is just called butterflies. And what does that mean? Does that mean you should go look for butterflies in different countries? I guess you could if you're into butterflies, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those butterflies here, that feeling in your stomach that you're about to do something that you're kind of scared. I've had that feeling when recently I learned how to ride a motorcycle in the streets of Hanoi. I had the feeling when I first rode a motorbike in Hanoi. It was kind of scary riding through that traffic. But I have these great experiences in my life, and all the stories that I tell, all my best stories when you're using your grade A stuff, it's always something that gave me butterflies, something that made me nervous. My most recent would probably be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I wasn't in great shape. I was a little bit nervous about doing it. Obviously, the altitude, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it gave me pause. It gave me butterflies. And looking back, I summited one of the best experiences of my life. So I would say to all of you out there that are afraid to travel to a certain area or a little bit nervous about something, I'm not saying to go and seek something that's like could kill you, or you need to travel in an area like a high crime where you could get yourself killed or something like that. But don't be afraid of those feelings that make you nervous. Embrace them. Whenever you get those butterflies about trying something new, something outside of your comfort zone, don't run away from that. Don't shy away from that. Go after it instead. I promise you in the end, that'll pay off and you'll be happy that you did it. Tip number 2 is called listen to your elders. Wow, I sound like an old man saying that, but what do I mean by that? I'm 42 years old and I've been traveling since I'm about 20 years old. I wish I had started even earlier than that. But one thing I've always gained from traveling is before I even came to Vietnam, I used to talk to a guy that I used to bartend with who was in his 60s. His name was Doctor. What a cool name for a bartender. He passed away since then. Rest in peace, Doctor. I don't want to make this sad podcast, but Doc used to always tell me about Vietnam. He was a veteran here, and he had great experiences coming here. And of course, the war was horrible, but afterwards he kept traveling back to Vietnam. He fell in love with it. So a lot of elderly people have great wisdom, but not just elderly people in your home country. When you get to a new place, another thing that's great to do, and it's something that might sound kind of weird, is talk to an older person. When I came to Vietnam, it was great to actually sit down with someone a lot older than me. I was in my first time I came here was in my late 20s. But, sit down, have a coffee, buy a beer. If you have a translator, great. If you don't and you find someone that speaks a common language, that's fantastic as well. But, buy them a coffee, buy them a beer, sit down, understand. You get great wisdom from talking to someone else. You get a great understanding of where the country used to be and where it is now. And it's just a great little tip, something I always try to seek out and do. Just have a conversation. It shouldn't be so intimidating. A lot of older people neglect them too. And guess what? They're filled with knowledge and filled with experiences. And you can learn a lot from them. So take some time, whether it be 10 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. Sit down with someone older and just listen. Listen to what they have to say, and I guarantee you'll learn something from them. Okay, tip number 3. This is kind of an easy one, and I would say when almost every country out there that has railroad tracks and a train that attaches to them, go for it. So tip number 3 is take an overnight train. I think it's one of the most fascinating experiences you can do as a traveler. It's a great way to slow down. We're always working so fast. I want to see so many things. I want to experience so many things. I want to take a selfie of this, go here, visit this, check this. Take a train. You'll slow down. You'll see a country. You'll see the landscape. You'll watch it unfold in a nice, slow pace. It's a great time to sit back and read, which will lead me to another tip I'm going to give you. A great time to journal. Great time to strike up a conversation with a stranger, in the sort of food cart area or at the bar area, or even just sharing a room with someone. But just slow down, take a look. It's a great way to start your adventure in a new country, whether you're going for a week or going for a month or even going longer or moving to a new country. But take an overnight train for me in Vietnam. Great experience for me to understand the landscape, to see the agriculture and see the way the country changes from north to south. I took a train on my first assignment. I took a train from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City. I had an assignment for a French magazine, and to save them money, instead of flying, I took the train. It took a couple days, but what a wonderful experience. What a great way for me to see the country and a great way to introduce a country to yourself. So take an overnight train, buy a ticket. They're usually pretty cheap, and it's a wonderful experience. All right, tip number 4, and this one's going to be really hard for you guys to do. I know you're going to fight me on this one. I know you're not going to be able to resist, but this one is leave your phone behind and bring a journal. So throw this away, take this with you. It doesn't have to be this big and bulky, but the reason being is, I'm not saying you have to do this every single day. Your phone's filled with lots of things. If you like to vlog, you like to Instagram, all that kind of stuff, fine. But just one day, maybe your first day, leave your phone in your hotel room. It's a crazy feeling. You're going to have this moment of I need to go back. I need to have my phone. How do I get here? Listen, pull out a map. Talk to the people at the hotel. Or just get lost. That can be kind of fun, just getting lost. Leave your phone behind. That thing is filled with distractions. Take a regular camera with you. They actually make cameras that aren't phones as well. But go out and explore without all the distractions that come with a phone. I mean, you'll get caught up in you're at a cafe and you'll be, oh, I did this. Write it down. Actually, that's kind of fun. You'll be really in the moment. Write it down. Or better yet, just observe. Sit down at a cafe or sit down at a square. Observe the architecture. Observe the people. Listen to conversations. Great way to really understand a new place. Leave your phone behind, again, filled with distractions, and just let it all come to you. It sounds like an old man comment, but I promise you, I keep promising you, but I think you'll really dig it. It's kind of a cool experience, is travel around free of that. You might get lost, and guess what? That's fun, that's a story. So get lost, leave your phone behind. 5 is to bring a book. Bring a book set in the country or the place that you're visiting. I guess that would be the equivalent of wearing like the concert t-shirt of the band that you're going to see, which isn't cool. But I tell you what, bringing the book of the country you're visiting is cool. And I'm not saying the travel book or like I even forget the name of those things, but those like travel guides and things like that. No, just bring a book by an author. It can be fiction, it can be nonfiction, but I recommend bringing 2 books for your experience, or ahead of time if you can read a book, even better. But bring a book about the past of that country, something important that happened. For me, it's interesting to read about the Vietnam War, but it's also interesting to understand where Vietnam is now. I mean, this country is a lot more than the war. There's a lot of things happening now that are different. So understanding the past will help you understand the present. Another thing I'd recommend is, sure, a foreign author is great for some things, but if you can, find a book by a local author to really get a true local perspective. And there's a lot out there. You just have to seek it out and find it. But you will learn. It's a very nice educational tool. Is get a couple books, take them with you, set in the country that you're traveling to. It'll give you a better understanding of the past and the present. So go to wherever, Amazon, wherever you buy books, buy a couple books, learn, educate yourself. Tip number 6, I think I said I do 5, but now I'm going to do 7 because I'm just feeling like the coffee's coming in right now and I've got all these ideas. or I made the mistake and realized I have 7 written here instead of 5. So tip number 6 is, I call it not that market, the other one. And what do I mean by that? Listen, most travel guides, most travel magazines, they always sort of go with the least common denominator. They always go to that market where tourists should go. And those markets become what they think tourists want. And you can't blame the people for selling you not bear t-shirts, like beer t-shirts, like drinking beer, things like that. You know, Chang beer, Saigon, what are some popular ones? Tiger beer, things like that. You're buying them. Stop buying them. Those are such ugly, awful t-shirts. You backpackers. Nothing wrong with backpackers, but stop buying those t-shirts. No, but go to a local market. Go to a place where locals shop for the produce, for everyday items, things like that, and you'll really get a true perspective of what that country is all about. So when you're traveling around, you might see a market, you might be intimidated. Just go walk through. People tend to be nice. There's a lot of these great stalls in there for food. You'll get to really. It's kind of like sensory overload. If you go to the market for foreigners, it's built for foreigners. You'll see what they want you to see. If you go to a market for locals, you will see a real perspective of what that country's all about. The goods they buy, the food they eat, the produce that's popular there. It's just a great way to experience. If you can go with a local, even better, because you'll understand the pricing. You'll understand which food is fresh for which particular season, things like that. So if you can find a local friend or have a local friend, fantastic, but go to a market that's not listed in your guidebooks. It is a great piece of advice. Thank you very much. Okay, and tip number 7, the last piece of advice I'm going to give you, and I am sometimes guilty of not listening to my own tips here, and I've been in situations where I haven't been proud of the way I've handled it, but I call this practice patience. Practice patience is extremely important. You can lose your cool in other countries because you think that you shouldn't be haggling over price. You think you're getting ripped off. You think when you're traveling, you're not used to delays, or you think you're entitled to a refund for this, that, and the other thing. I'm telling you, take a deep breath, relax. You're in another country. Go in already built in with the idea that people are going to try to charge you for a different price for things. People are going to try to rip you off. It's going to happen. I'm not saying you have to give your money away, but just be patient. Don't lose your cool. Understand already in your mind these things are going to happen. Understand the scams that are out there is even better because you know what to not get trapped into. You know what to walk away from. But just be patient with people. Things happen at a different pace in every single country around the world. Things happen in a different way. So be okay with that. Understand the culture, again, through reading, through understanding the best you can. But when you get there, have it built in your mind that, hey, things aren't going to run the same way they might run in my country, for better or worse. And just go in there and be patient. Be a good ambassador for your country. Losing your patience, losing your cool is never a good look. Again, I've been guilty of that certain situations, and I've always regretted it. I've always felt like a jerk afterwards. So try to be patient. Again, just think inside your head a little bit, or go in sort of preloaded. And, hey, bad things are going to happen sometimes. They're not going to be awful, but remember, you're in a new country, you're experiencing something new, you're in their country, more importantly, wherever you're traveling, and just be open-minded. Okay, that's all for today. I appreciate you listening to all these tips. Please take a moment and subscribe. And I'm going to leave you with a last quote by Anthony Bourdain. I feel like I'm just kind of ripping him off, but I love his quotes. He's better at this than I am, so I think he has a lot of interesting things to say. I've always been inspired by him, so hopefully he can inspire you. Hopefully I can inspire you, but if not, he can inspire you. So the last quote I'm going to leave you by Anthony Bourdain is this, if I'm an advocate for anything, it's to move. As far as you can, as much as you can, across the ocean or simply across the river. Walk in someone else's shoes, or at least eat their food. It's a plus for everybody. It's a cute little quote, I like it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Remember to please subscribe, share. I'd like to build this audience a little bit more, so inspire me to do more work, and I can get some awesome sponsors and things like that. No, subscribe if you have a chance, if you liked it. If not, that's okay too. And travel, go out there, travel, share your travel experience with me. If you have any travel tips, leave them in the comments section. I appreciate it, guys. Have a wonderful day.